Yes, today we will study about the activity centered learning strategies. So, in this lecture, we will study about global perspectives on activity centered curriculum and evaluation and assessment in activity centered curriculum. So, see, activity centered learning strategies. Activity based learning strategies engage students in hands on, interactive, and student centered experiences, helping them grasp concepts more effectively. And few activities and few examples I have presented here for the activity centered learning strategies. The advantage of this activity centered learning strategy is that it helps to develop hands on skills. Interactive, one is explaining, one is listening and trying to understand what is going on, and student centered experiences, because after passing through the learning, passing through the activities, the students are able to receive the experiences, so helping them grasp concepts more effectively. So, see the few examples of this activity centered learning strategies. What are these? One is project based learning, PBL. Students work on real world projects over a period of time to solve a problem or answer a question. Example, designing a water filtration system to address local water quality issues. This is the one example that the students are designing a water filtration system to solve the issue of this quality water and a water quality, that they will trying to modify that how the people of that particular vicinity can get purified water. So, students work on real world projects over a period of time to solve a problem or answer a question. So, project based learning means that any one problem, that a kind of project is provided to the students and students work on that in a group. If you are providing the individual problem, that it will be of short duration, it will be of very specific, but in case of project based learning, it is very essential that it should be carried on a kind of group. So, this project based learning requires a kind of water filtration system. Say for example, this is an example how to address the kind of this problem just to get the quality water and to improve the quality of the water. Problem based learning. Students explore solutions to open ended problems, fostering critical thinking and problem solving skills. I told you that this kind of activity centered curriculum helps the learners to foster critical thinking or to solve the problems that the students face in daily life. Example, analyzing case studies to develop strategies for managing environmental crisis. So, this kind of case studies are also helpful, or is also a like of problem based learning that can be solved in a systematic manner like a research problem. Inquiry based learning, students make hypotheses through exploration and experimentation. Example, conducting experiments to study the effects of light and water on plant growth. So, inquiry means that is a kind of observation, there is a kind of curiosity, there is a kind of certain particular keep on monitoring that what kind of reasons are here for that particular phenomena. So, inquiry based learning means to observe each and everything, write it on your copy, then find out the reason of that particular phenomena. Role playing and simulation. Role playing, say for example, students take on roles in simulated scenarios to understand perspectives and practice decision making. Say for example, one is playing a role of any leader, one is playing the role model, or maybe a teacher is role model. So he is acting and he is trying to give the message to the other students, to the society, that the excellent work always reward. So this is a role playing where the students act according to the model that is selected as a excellent model, and he considers that I will be follow and I will follow this particular role. And simulations, example, acting as diplomats in a mock United Nations debates. There are mock parliament also. Student acts like a democratic leader, sometimes they are the leader, acting as a leader of the parliament, and it may be uh, other leaders, those who are opposition, and they are creating lot of disturbance, lot of kind of situation that needs certain explanation. Collaborative learning activities, group tasks that encourage teamwork, communication and knowledge sharing. Example, building a prototype bridge using limited materials in a STEM challenge. Experiential learning, direct experiences where students reflect on what they have learned through activities. So, this is also a kind of learning strategies. In collaborative learning, two teams are working and they are having certain values. They will respect each other, they will respect the ideas of each other, and they will follow the social ethics. They will work in a group, how to cooperate others, how to make a certain kind of decisions collectively. So, this all kind of collaborative learning activities are there. Experiential learning where the students are getting the kind of experiences and try to understand what is the real situation. So, direct experiences where students reflect on what they have learned through activities. Example, visiting a historical site and documenting findings in a journal. Gamification and educational games, using game based activities to teach concepts in an engaging way. Example, playing math based board games to reinforce arithmetic skills. Arts integrated activities, combining creativity with learning such as storytelling, drama or craft. So, these all are the learning strategies for activity centered curriculum. Example, writing and performing a play to illustrate a historical event. Case studies, analyzing real life scenarios to apply theoretical knowledge in practical context. Example, evaluating a business case to propose a marketing strategy. Technology enhanced activities, using digital tools for interactive learning experiences. Example, creating a virtual 3D model of the solar system using software. Global perspectives on activity centered curriculum. Adoption in developed countries. Most developed countries incorporate this practice in their systems. One finds an activity based education in the United States, Finland and Canada. Examples are STEM, science, technology, education and management project based learning. Experiential orientation, oriented towards this style which Finland adopted in its curriculum. Technology and innovative techniques extensively applied in the development processes. Emphasis in developing countries, activity based learning is gradually being incorporated by developing countries like India, South Africa and Brazil to overcome rote based learning systems. Innovations such as recently implemented National Education Policy 2020 in India are promoting hands-on and inquiry-based learning techniques. A major constraint is resources as well as the need for teacher training. So, NEP 2020 National Education Policy also says that when we are providing knowledge to the students, there should be a certain kind of skills in their hands also. So, after passing through the particular course, the student is having knowledge as well as the skills on both the hands. What will be the advantage of this? The advantage will be that the students can adjust in the outer world and he can get a kind of vocation and will be adjust in the vocational world, occupation world, and will find the job. So, that is very essential, that to develop the faith in education system. So, this kind of activity based curriculum makes and develops the students skills, hand skills, and make them more perfect learners. A major constraint is resources as well as the need for teacher training. Role of international organizations. UNESCO supports learner-centered approaches and activity-based and experiential education as part of sustainable development goals. Learning passport that UNICEF offers is a great example for activity-based learning, particularly in crisis-affected areas. Cultural adaptations. Activities are designed to depict local customs, traditions, and knowledge system. For instance, in Australia and Canada, indigenous knowledge and practices are integrated into activity-based curriculum. Collaborative learning across borders. Online portals pave the way for cross-national collaboration, where most activities encourage students' participation in joint projects, thus helping to facilitate cultural exchange and teamwork. Challenges in global implementation of activity-centered curriculum. Resource disparity, lack of access to materials, technology, and trained educators in many regions. So, we do not have access of material, access of resources that can be used in this activity based curriculum. Sometimes there is no technological aids in the schools, in the higher education institutions also. So this kind of disparity also creates a lot of things that needed to be equalized and that needed to be focused, and to be such kind of problem be addressed by providing funds to the school, to the higher education institutions, and trained educators in many regions. This is very essential, that to deal the content with the help of activity centered curriculum, it is very essential that the trained teacher should be here. And we observed that in training colleges, the teachers are only going through the theoretical papers, they are having the knowledge of society, they are having the knowledge of psychological need of the students, and they are also being provided with the knowledge of learning theories, learning motivational theories, and theories of intelligence, etc. But are they have technological skills? The answer is no, because they are not being equipped with these kind of skills. And in curriculum, only one paper that is related to ICT in education is being taught to the trainees. But how far the practicals being doing there, and what kind of skills being developed among the learners, this is a question. Because very essential that if the teachers are having skills, if the teachers are having enthusiasm to present anything creatively, then we can say that the activity centered curriculum is more successful. Standardization issues, balancing local context with global trends in curriculum design. Scalability, managing the activity based approach for large heterogeneous student population. Evaluation and assessment in activity centered curriculum. Evaluation and assessment in an activity centered curriculum provide an appropriate understanding of the process and outcomes through multifaceted student based methods. Such evaluations contrast sharply with some earlier methods since they place emphasis on skills, creativity and practicability. Alternative assessment methods, portfolios. So, this is technological based assessment. Portfolios, it is a collection of the work of students, time by time showing progress, creativity and achievements. Rubrics, clear and comprehensive criteria regarding specific aspects of activities to be evaluated, fairness and consistency. So, we evaluate the students through these kind of technological devices, such kind of technological techniques or methods, portfolios and rubrics. We assess the students. Self and peer assessments, students will reflect on their own work or provide feedback to others, thereby encouraging both accountability and critical thinking. Formative assessment. Ongoing assessment during the activity helps identify areas where development is needed and guides students towards better outcome. Example, observations, group discussions and feedback via group work or practical activities. So, formative assessment means that the education process starts from the placement, evaluation, placement, assessment. Then when the syllabus is moving and the teacher is start teaching that particular topic. So, at the various points monitoring is needed here just to know that how far the students are able, how far the students are capable of doing work and where the need is required, where there is a kind of help that is needed from the side of the institution, from the side of the teacher, or maybe to provide the infrastructure and maybe other kind of help is needed here. So, formative assessment helps us to know the difficulties of the students at the initial points. So, we modified the program accordingly when it is ongoing process. So, assessment process is very helpful to fulfill the objectives of any lesson, to fulfill the objectives of that particular syllabus, and we try to reach at a point where we evaluate the students' achievement in totality. Examples, observations, group discussions and feedback via group work or practical activities. So, these are the kind of methods, these are the methods that we usually use for the assessment of formative assessment of the activity centered curriculum. Performance based assessment focuses on students demonstrating their understanding through real world tasks. Example, doing a science experiment building a model or solving a case study. Reflective practices, student learning journals or logs an account of the process, problems and insights of the learning process. Technology enabled assessment, digital tools including interactive quizzes, e-portfolios and simulation software that enable efficient and engaging assessments. Challenges in assessment, subjectivity, student creative thinking and collaboration may prove more challenging to assess than conventional exam. Sometimes it happens that we are observing the students, we are discussing the students, but there is subjectivity. So, we are not able to get the correct answer. So, this kind of subjectivity always create a lot of challenges for a teacher, that assessment is not done perfect. So, what we will have to do? We will have to know from the consultation of the students, from the consultation of the teachers and the staff members, so that what kind of changes are required and what kind of modification is needed here. So, challenges in assessment sometimes is subjective. Time intensive, personalized assessment needs more time and effort to be exerted by the teacher. Scalability, such methods require too much effort for a lot of students. Balancing process and outcomes, focuses on learning process, participation, work effort, cooperation and the product or solution in the end. So, balancing process and outcome, it is very essential that focus should be given on the learning process that may be in the form of participation of the learner, engaging the learners, work effort and cooperation and the product or solution in the end. Linking to curriculum goals, evaluation is aligned to activity centered objectives of the curriculum of critical thinking, problem solving and teamwork among others. So, thank you very much learning these all. So, to sum up this lecture, I would like to say that we have studied about the teaching learning strategies in activity centered curriculum, where we have learned that what kind of strategies are required to operate the activity centered curriculum, say for example cooperative learning, collaborative learning, and sometime we are having a teamwork and sometime we are having the project based learning, sometime we are having a games, gamifications and we are also having quizzes that we frame on the basis of the content of that particular chapter and we are trying to know that what is the answer of this, discussion, consultation, paper presentation. So, these all are the learning strategies that make the class environment very conducive, pleasurable and joyful, and teacher helps the students to modify the responses and students also take enjoy by full participation and giving their best to prove that we have done all the work. So, this is kind of learning strategies that may be fruitful for the holistic development of the students, that may be helpful developing particular skills and developing social skills and developing critical thinking skills, developing problem solving skills, etc. And apart from this, it is also very essential that the continuous assessment in the activity centered curriculum is very essential, because sometime one student is not participating, what is reason of it, why few students are making good progress, few students are not engaging, few students are quite different kind of interest presenting. So, these all that we observe in the classroom, on the basis of that we declare what kind of need a student's demands. and a teacher should try to extend this help to the students in order to make it the learning more fruitful and to develop the holistic development of the students, because we have to consider all students in the classroom, not the one child, but we have to provide our services to all. So, for that always keep a eye and try to know that what kind of modification is needed there. Keeping an eye, always make your observation more valid, because if one is doing work continuously, if another student is not doing work, so immediately you will have to ask what is the reason of this. So, individual assessment, group assessment, and a kind of students requirement, these can also be noted through continuous formative assessment of activity centered curriculum. So, no doubt this curriculum is very valuable asset in terms of curriculum model, and it helps and it provides lot of spaces for the learners to learn more and to develop various skills like problem solving skills, inquisitive skills, inquiry skills, and a kind of inductive and deductive skills, so many reasoning, justification, and making the students more active, more self-reliant, more independent. So, these all are very helpful for this kind of model, that is activity centered curriculum. But due to time constraints, due to money constraints, and due to lack of skilled teachers, sometimes many challenges are faced by the school and the higher education institutions. So, it becomes a bit question for the administrators that how to operate the activity centered curriculum, but can be carried on by appointing good teachers, qualified teachers, skilled teachers, or by making certain kind of changes in training program also. So, this is also advisable to the authorities that if the training program is changed and a certain kind of space will be provided to the trainees to learn the technological skills, and theoretical, along with the theoretical paper, this kind of skills that is very essential for the operation of the activity centered lesson be added in the training, teachers training curriculum. So, the students or the trainees will be able to help the students in real sense. So, I do hope that you would be able to know that what is activity centered curriculum, what are the requirements of activity centered curriculum, what is the role of teachers in activity centered curriculum, what are the teaching strategies to learn about the activity centered curriculum, and what are the challenges a teacher faces in this activity centered curriculum, and what are the particular kind of requirements that the activity center curriculum demands, and another few points that we have discussed uh, in this lecture. I do hope that you have enjoyed and that you have learnt what is really about the activity centered curriculum. So, be happy and be healthy. Thank you very much.